Jazz win again. Tonight, it's against the Brooklyn Nets. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, if you are new here, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Although this is a depression channel right now, I know it's weird. I know we're in a weird spot, guys. It's just a weird transition phase for us fans, especially the diehards, but it's weird. But anyways, join me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, or don't. Do whatever you want. Also, make sure if you would like to have some fun with these Jazz games, maybe the Jazz don't have a plan, but you sure can by going to Prize Picks and use promo code HoopsNerd. It supports the channel and it's fun. And if you go there and use promo code HoopsNerd, you play $5, you get $50. It's free money. Use it wisely, guys. If you got some birthday money, then use it, but don't be silly. Just do the right thing. All right, let's just get into this. This show might evolve as this season goes along, guys, because I don't know. I don't know how to cope with this, guys. I took the day for my wife's birthday last game, and I ended up like having a moment where we were watching something, and I pulled out my phone and watched the end of the Rockets game, and I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe that the stupid Houston Rockets couldn't beat this Jazz team. A Jazz team tonight that barely beats the if you didn't watch the game, the score is misleading. They barely beat this Brooklyn Nets team on the back end of a back-to-back, and yet somehow, I don't know. It's just, this is the worst season in some ways because we know what the Jazz should be doing. It's very clear what the Jazz should be doing if they want a shot at another guy to really contend for a championship, because if they brought a championship caliber player onto this roster to pair with Keontae George, who looks great, to pair, I guess, with Lauri Markkanen, since Ryan Smith seems dead set on building around him. If they re-sign Walker Kessler and that whole weird situation that the Jazz front office seems to be bungling very badly, you need to get another guy to add to this roster. And I promise you the answer is not free agency. Free agency just doesn't really exist anymore. It's nice to have cap space, but the way that teams use cap space now is not for just like signing Bojan Bogdanovic like even 5-10 years ago. It's for taking on bad salary to make sure you get good picks back. Good teams do that, like the Thunder, who took the Jazz pick to trade for Derek Favors, right? They took on bad salary, took a first-round pick from the Jazz, which the Jazz seem very interested in giving to the Oklahoma City Thunder this season. Bad ownership and bad management like the Jazz have. Yes, the Jazz have a bad owner. At this point, I've just accepted it. That's something that I'm trying to deal with, understanding and just accepting that the Jazz have a bad owner and who has put in management now that just does what he wants. He is the one that signed off on the trade to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bad teams trade salary and use picks to do it. Good teams use that cap space to take on players and bad salary to get good picks, and that's what the Thunder did. And we're just seeing time after time after time, bad decision after bad decision after bad decision with this owner and this front office. And that doesn't even take in, and I'm talking basketball. You can argue other things about the Jazz arena that gets renovated here and there, although the ticket prices go up every single time. And, the TV deal that was done that, didn't cover everywhere that Jazz fans are. The brand for the uniforms, remember purple is back when we had yellow and black uniforms. Trading Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert to only half-ass the tank the following 2 seasons. I mean, we can just go through the decisions after they make the trades of trading, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. They get back Lauri Markkanen, and I will give them some leeway. They saw how good Lauri Markkanen was, and he played really well for them that first season and played at an all-star level. They could have traded Mike Conley sooner, but that was a bad decision. They just held on to him. From everything we saw online and everything that was written, the trade that they made when they traded Mike Conley was on the table the whole time. So they could have traded Mike Conley earlier. So anyone who was a big fan of Mike Conley, that's fine. But they traded him mid-season that year. Why did you wait? If you were just going to trade him, why did you wait? You cost the Jazz draft position. You could have been one of the worst teams in the league that year. Instead, you ended up with the 9th pick and get Taylor Hendricks, who doesn't even get to play. Tonight he got to play for a grand total. How much minutes did he play? Taylor Hendricks played for 6 minutes, 58 seconds. So that's what the Jazz have to show with their own pick. They have bungled their own pick 2 out of the last 3 seasons, and it's looking like 3 of the last 4 if we include this year. The one time they focused on getting the worst record and did a good job of it and let Danny Ainge do what he wanted to do, the one time that Ryan Smith just let Danny Ainge do it, we end up with Ace Bailey. You didn't even have to win the lottery, and you still got that guy. And this draft is looking like a great one like last year's draft. If you can get a top 5 pick in this one, you're getting a good player. Guys like Caleb Wilson, Cam Boozer. I know Nate Ament is kind of dropping on some people's boards because the shot isn't quite falling. But there's good guys there. Koa Pete. There's good players to pick. And Utah is just... because Ryan Smith just wants to have fun with his buddies. Remember that dumb tweet he tweeted out where he went outside and I yelled and I talked to a Jazz fan who was disappointed too, and we're just gonna stick with the... No, you threw a tantrum and you changed your mind last second, and you didn't even let Danny Ainge really do his job for 3 years, and you went and got his son and promised him a job, and if he did what you wanted, and that's what they've done. And so congrats to the Utah Jazz, who now sit at 8-13. We got to pull up the NBA.com site here. Guys, it's so hard for me. One of the things is I want to win a championship. I am not unlike Ryan Smith, who just seems like the only thing that matters is how he's perceived and how when people talk to him, his rich friends and his billionaire buddies, whoever those are, whatever, the tech field people and all that they think that the Jazz are good and that he's doing a good job. And I'm sorry that this is the way it is. This is just how the NBA works. I'm sorry. I know there's fans out there that they just want to be good. They don't care if they actually win a title. Well, sorry, that's loser mentality for me. And I will never, ever adhere to that type of thinking. That's just loser stuff. If you want to win a championship, you have to have an MVP caliber guy. That's it. There's just no other way around it. And Utah, none of these teams actually get those guys in free agency or trade anymore. I guess you could argue the Lakers, but that is widely considered the worst trade in NBA history. Do you think any other teams want to trade their guy to another team and just get lampooned and lose their job like Nico Harrison just did? He just lost his job. Do you think the GM of the Milwaukee Bucks, who's in trade talks right now, is going to just trade Giannis for nothing? No. He will lose his job. What's happening right now with Giannis basically is the same thing that Donovan Mitchell did, where he asked for a trade during the season. That's what Giannis is doing, but they do it behind closed doors, and then they let the team kind of figure it out. That's what Donovan Mitchell did. That's what Giannis is doing. But anyways, look, this is what the Jazz are doing right now. This is what Ryan Smith is achieving. If you go on to the Tankathon here, you can see Utah only keeps their pick if they're the top 8. And people who think that the only way you succeed in the lottery is when you win do not understand how drafting and how building teams works. It's very clear Ryan Smith just thought Cooper Flagg would be really good. And that's all that was good in that draft. But guess what? There were other great players. Dylan Harper. Ace Bailey was slated 3. We got him at 5. And we don't get Ace Bailey if we aren't bottom 5. We just don't. Right? Every year, weird things happen. Every single year. We're already seeing it with Cam Boozer. There are 2 camps right now with Cam Boozer. And it only takes 2 teams making a bad choice, and you get a guy like Ace Bailey. Cam Boozer might drop to Utah if they're there. Now, it's a little too late for that. Now, at this point, Utah has to just hope they win the lottery. They just keep winning games, which, we'll talk about this game, but look at where Utah stands. They sit at 9th in the lottery standings. You have, at this spot, a 20% chance at a top 4 pick. Even if they get to here, that's just better odds to jump. And you keep your pick. Utah has to get to the 5th, 6th, or 7th spot. They have to. If they don't, they are absolutely pushing back the championship window that Ryan Smith talked about for years. It sucks because we're seeing good things from Keyonte George. If they re-sign Walker Kessler, he is a starting caliber center. They're seeing obviously great things from Lauri Markkanen if that's who they want to keep. I would have traded him, but at this point, if you're keeping Lauri Markkanen and you want to keep your pick, which is what they have been telling us, you have to do things to make sure you lose some of these games. And I'm sorry that that's not very fun, but that's the reality. Guess what? The Detroit Pistons lost a lot of games with Cade Cunningham. But by the way, they don't even get to where they're at if they don't have Cade Cunningham. Utah doesn't have a Cade Cunningham. Maybe Keyonte George turns into that. He's really playing well. Like really, really well. But I don't know. Bailey only had 25 minutes tonight. Not good enough. I agree. But, I don't want to talk to Ryan Smith. I am like over it. Like no one stood up for Ryan Smith more than me. No one. I got blasted online when I talked about how the Jazz actually tanked those first 2 years, because I could kind of see like, well, if you have Lauri Markkanen, you're better than you thought you were, and they looked for the best trade possible with Mike Conley. But we found out after the fact that they had that Mike Conley trade on the table, and deep down in my heart of hearts, and I'm never going back on that again, I knew they should have tanked it out. That's what I wanted them to do. I guess part of it is I have to talk about these games every game. I have to cope, right? I have to talk to you guys when I'm depressed. When the Jazz are good and they lose, it sucks. When they're bad and they win, it sucks. So, I don't know. But no one stood up for the decisions Ryan Smith made. I even tried to stand up for those awful uniforms. Well, no more. No more. It's just bad management. It's just bad ownership. And when you've got this just billionaire guy that just all that matters is image and sales and all those types of things, then when you lose, I guess he just gets really sad and has to like fire someone or, I don't know. It's just terrible. It's really terrible. So all we're left, if you're someone who's wanting to win this lottery, all we're left doing is hoping for luck. Everyone online wants to say, oh, well, guess what? Even Zach Lowe, which I wish he'd stop promoting this false narrative, this false idea that, oh, the lottery odds are flattened. And so, teams that are later in the lottery, you win the lottery. Well, first off, why didn't the Jazz win the lottery when they were at 9th and 10th? If that's so true, why haven't we won the lottery? Every single time those teams talk about lottery odds, like the Dallas Mavericks jumping, great, good for them. Guess what? Two bottom 4 teams also jumped, or 2 bottom 5 teams jumped, right? Last year was the exception. We got 2 teams, was it 8 and 10 or something like that? But guess what? That doesn't take into account 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6 or 7 other teams that did not win. And that was the exception. I hope the Jazz are the exception this year, but if you are chasing after exceptions, you're going to be disappointed, right? I look at teams that did it correctly, like the Houston Rockets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, that they knew when they were losing that they needed you. It's better to just lose as much as possible and get top 4, top 5 picks. That's what you're doing. You don't even necessarily need the number 1 pick. OKC never won it. They were lucky that they made a trade and they had a player just evolve into one of the best players in the league. In fact, SGA is the best player in the league, better than Jokic because he actually plays defense. Christian House Money to Haas, you're awesome. I appreciate it. Don't be depressed. Your followers, I appreciate you guys more. Sometimes I'm amazed that I can't believe there's people watching me tonight. Everyone knows my stance, but I sure love you guys. I appreciate it. Christian, you're the man. But anyways, what I wanted to say is the Jazz are in no man's land. Have you guys ever played tennis? I played tennis in high school. No man's land is the worst place to be on the tennis court. You either want to be at the net or you want to be at the baseline. Because if you're in the middle of the court, if you're playing tennis, that's where the ball hits the ground. It'll hit your feet. It's the worst place to be. That's the first thing your tennis coach is going to teach you is don't be in no man's land, moron. Either be at the baseline, volleying, hitting bombs, or go to the net and get short shots. But you do not want to be in the mid lane, or you will not be able to hit the ball. It's at your feet. It's impossible. The Jazz are not at the net right now, and they're not at the baseline. They're in no man's land. Because right now, you look at this. They sit at 9. They're the 9th worst team. So anytime you have a buddy or someone asks you, why do you want the Jazz to lose? They're the 9th worst team. It's not like the Jazz are good. They beat up the Brooklyn Nets tonight, who are actively trying to be bad. Michael Porter Jr. did not play tonight. They did not have an interest in winning this game, and they nearly beat the Jazz anyway on the back end of a back-to-back. But you look at this for lottery, this is where they stand here. And then when you look, okay, so if we're Ryan Smith and we want to make the play and we think we're better than people say, Lauri Markkanen, who doesn't play defense and can't initiate a pick and roll, we're going to build around that. Utah still sits outside of the play-in. Dallas Mavericks are tied with them in the win category. The Clippers are going to win some games. They have no incentive to lose. So every time the Clippers go up against some of these bad teams, they're going to win. Sacramento, who knows? They're probably tanking at this point. Even the Sacramento Kings, who run things like Ryan Smith, are doing a better job at tanking this year. New Orleans is going to win some games. At least I keep telling myself that at some point, this loser franchise, Joe Dumars. By the way, if the Jazz are smart, they go do something with the Pelicans tomorrow. Go trade Lauri Markkanen to the Pelicans tomorrow, get picks and get Zion, and you'll help them win games. You'll drop. Zion can come back next year, get him in shape, and go get picks. And because look what happened with the Atlanta Falcons. This pick from the Pelicans is the number 1 spot. It's insanity. But Utah sits behind the Portland Trailblazers. Does anyone think the Portland Trailblazers are the Jazz can beat out the Blazers? Does anyone think that? Wiggle, thank you for joining. Welcome to Rookie, my man. Does anyone think that? The Memphis Grizzlies. Does anyone think Utah's going to outpace the Grizzlies? The Warriors? Is Utah going to outpace Steph and Draymond and Jimmy Butler? I mean, they're older, but not this year. Maybe next year when they're a year older, and if Utah actually won the lottery, maybe. And then Phoenix, who's been playing well. By the way, screw the Phoenix Suns for not winning that game, and especially screw the Boston Celtics. Double screw, triple screw. Boston Celtics, you bubs! Also, by the way, the Jazz get the most BS whistle ever. The fact that Utah won that game against Boston because the refs didn't call that offensive foul against Key against Jaylen Brown is crazy. Utah has 2 wins that are complete, absolute atrocities. Crimes against humanity. I just can't. Those are the wins that I'll sit there and I'll think about it and it'll just ruin my night. But anyways, this stupidly run team The owner doesn't know what he's doing. He hired a nepo baby who hasn't done anything. What is Austin Ainge done? What has he actually done besides get jobs because of his dad? What has he done? I know what you and me have done. We've worked and we've talked about this. By the way, can I just say, and I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what anyone says, what anyone thinks. Whenever I have someone say, oh, I'm glad you're not the GM. You know what? You know what? Like I had someone, because I said something, I had the audacity to say something about Ryan Smith online. And someone said, well, what makes you think you'd be, I'm glad you're not. What makes you think you'd be any better? I'm sorry. Do you think someone like me or Tony Jones or Andy Larson, who talks about these things all the time, Sarah, what's her name? All the time, day in, day out. Does Ryan Smith cover the league? He does not know more than me or the average writer that writes about these teams. Even the average SLC Dunk writer understands these things better. Because we're not doing this, like, there's a difference between someone like me who is wanting to win a championship and someone like him. He's got, and I understand it, he's owning it. In his mind, it's a business, right? He wants to sell more tickets and make more money and use our tax dollars to fund more additions to his buildings. Can't afford it on his own. Even though he's got multiple billions of dollars, we've got to help pay that bill. But someone like me who actually only cares about the actual basketball on the court. The actual basketball on the court and winning. That's all that matters to me. Why wouldn't I make better decisions? Do you think if I had access to those rooms with Danny Ainge and the scouts and the scouting department and had the opportunity to go see what they're seeing and hear what their opinions are and these types of things, that I wouldn't make better decisions? I promise you right now, post Donovan Mitchell, post Rudy Gobert, I would have traded Mike Conley yesterday. Like yesterday. No question. Who cares? I want to win a championship. I don't care. I would not have given Lauri Markkanen the contract he has. What has that gotten us? I talked about that so much. I got so much hate on this channel and on these things. But guess what? That was the right move. Having Lauri Markkanen make $48 million next year, if you want to trade him, it's not going to happen. Who's trading for Lauri Markkanen for $48 million when Giannis is on the board? Go check his defensive rating, by the way. Go check his pull-up three-point numbers, by the way. We do it here. I hope Ryan Smith does once in a while, right? Does Ryan Smith even have a freaking NBA League Pass subscription? Is he watching the other games too, or is it just this team? I don't know. But stop telling SLC Dunk writers or people who spend their whole lives talking about this, dissecting this, that they couldn't make a better decision. Just because someone makes money doesn't mean they know more than you. By the way, that's just a rule of thumb and a rule of life. If you think that just because someone has a lot of money, they're smarter or a better worker or better than you in any way, you are mistaken. You are mistaken. They do not. Some are great, some don't. But just because someone is in some higher position than you does not mean they are smarter or better than you. Because guess what? Back in the day when we were doing draft things, talking about the Desmond Bane and the McDaniels draft, we know who we would have picked, but the Jazz went with Udoka Azubuike. Okay? So anytime anyone says, oh, I'm glad you're not the GM, well, guess what? I sure wouldn't have done that. I sure wouldn't have done that. And you know what else I wouldn't have done? Is what Justin Zanuck and Ryan Smith did when they traded Derek Favors to the Oklahoma City Thunder and had to give them a pick to do it. Wouldn't have done that. Wouldn't have done that. And guess what? We wouldn't be in the situation we're in now, because at least Utah would know they have their pick. And guess what? What did they do after the fact? They trade Derek Favors, and what was the big signing? It was Rudy Gay. Probably getting my history mixed up here, but that didn't work out. That was the big signing? All right. Stop telling people they don't know what they would have. No. The people you should not be telling who they're glad you're not the GM is not the people that cover it all the time. Nope. No. No, it's not. And I'm going to stop. This is not a big, I would have done better, but I tell you what, maybe. Actually, probably. So yeah, and I don't want to hear it from anyone too, because one of the funniest things ever, we had never mind. I won't get into it. There's too many things I know. There's too many things. But I hope they make the right decision, guys. At some point, they have got to make the right choice, because they have put themselves in no man's land on the tennis court, and it is the worst place to be. And I thought it was funny because who was it talking that was saying the Utah? I think it was Mark Stein said that the Utah Jazz don't want to be seen with the other tankers. Well, congratulations, Utah. You're now sitting amongst the likes of the Sacramento Kings, the LA Clippers, who just sent Chris Paul home ignominiously, if I said that correctly. You're now in the same pool as Portland and Chicago, and congratulations. That's the company you keep now. The Chicago Bulls. That's where we are. Congratulations. Congratulations, the Chicago Bulls, who will never be bad, but will never be good. They are 9-12. Utah's 8-13. Congratulations, Ryan Smith. Congratulations. You have a chance to get your head caved in come playoff night next year, because you didn't decide that adding more talent to this team was important. The only asset, it's just the more you talk about it, the more asinine and dumb it is. Utah has one asset this offseason. It is their draft pick. They did not get Walker Kessler signed, so it's possible that he just flat out walks. Absolutely, Raptors forever. Christian House DeHaas money. House money DeHaas. There we go. Got it. They had one asset. And I don't want to act like I'm not excited about certain things. I called it with Keyonte George. I told you. And despite the Jazz having it be more important to develop Kelly Olynyk than Keyonte George, or starting Isaiah Collier over Keyonte George, or playing and developing Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton and John Collins over Keyonte George still is developing into a great player, despite bad management and bad ownership. Despite that, he rises, right? It's impressive. Anyways, should we go into the game a little bit? I try not to clap back at people online too much, because I do think that I have my thoughts on whether people are inherently good or not. I actually don't know. But I do find that people will tweet things at me, and if I talk to them in real life, they'd probably be a lot nicer. Right? So I try my best. But sometimes people say things that drive me crazy. One of the things that people say to me online that drives me crazy is, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll eventually be bad enough." Well, when is it going to happen? When are the losses going to happen? Because I'm waiting. I'm sure waiting for the time that we'll actually lose enough to keep our pick. We waited too long the first two seasons, by the way. There's always short-term memory loss with these people. But the 2 seasons post Donovan and Rudy, they waited too long, and they weren't able to trade up. And both years, they pathetically tried to trade up when they could have just done the work initially to get there. But I guess it's more important to try to sell some tickets than it is to win a championship. By the way, I don't want to hear championship from Ryan Smith again. If this is the route we're taking, then I don't want to hear championship window. It just shows a very clear misunderstanding of how this league works. and how, like, Utah, it's very clear what Ryan Smith wants. He wants to go with Markkanen, Kessler, and Keontae George. And I love, I'm going to root for this team forever, no matter what. But it's very clear he thinks that some sort of magical occurrence is going to happen with free agency. Like when the Jazz tried to trade for Mikal Bridges and they were going to use free agency to get Paul George. Well, sure glad that didn't work out. Right? That was another dumb idea and dumb thing that would have been pretty terrible. Paul George has not been good with the 76ers, and Mikal Bridges has been fine. But, that was the big idea. That would have been a disaster. Utah would have been a laughing stock. And the only reason that Utah's not getting laughed at right now is they're not a major market. Ryan Smith should be happy that Utah right now is not getting the notoriety that a team like the Lakers. I mean, can you imagine if the Lakers were doing what the Jazz are doing right now, the scrutiny they would get? They're on national TV at least once a week, at least, if not every day. And they get scrutinized incessantly. Especially post the championship bubble, pre-bubble Lakers, pre-LeBron, they were a laughing stock, but because they were the Lakers, they would just get lampooned all the time. Utah gets to sit in anonymity and not get blasted. But I tell you what, guys like Zach Lowe are looking at what the Jazz are doing, and it's not good. It's not good. I assure you, it's not good. Not much else. I was hoping that Yegor Demon would have a career night tonight. He did not. He did not. Why Svi Mikhailiuk is on the Jazz, I don't know. It's a dumb thing. It makes no sense. These minutes should be going to someone else that either can develop or help the Jazz get to the bottom of the lottery. Nothing else with Svi. And the fun part is that he will be on the Jazz next year. So the Svi Mikhailiuk experience of him taking minutes from young guys continues into next year. What's your bet that if the Jazz won and got Darren Peterson? By the way, if that happens, then I am open for everyone. I hope Ryan Smith blasts me, and I hope the worst for me, as long as the Jazz win the lottery. That's what I would love. But anyways, watch us get Darren Peterson, and then we still play Svi Mikhailiuk over Darren Peterson. Oh, my gosh. Lauri Markkanen played really well. Well, he ended really well. He didn't play particularly great up until the last half of the fourth quarter when the Brooklyn Nets were exhausted, and then he hit 2 threes and helped close this one out. I don't know. We know kind of what Lauri Markkanen is, and he's playing really well this season. I'm happy for him. The Jazz have a duo between Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen that really works. Now, we haven't really seen it work against the best teams playing hardcore defense. It hasn't worked, and that's what makes me a little nervous and why I think the Jazz need one more guy. And I'm hoping that Ace Bailey turns into that next player. But wouldn't it be nice to add to this core another piece? That's the thing that can get you to the championship, but I don't know. Kyle Filipowski got the start with Jusuf Nurkic out, and it was nearly enough to help the Jazz win, although, they had that late run in the fourth quarter that just kind of really blasted the Nets. 6 for 8 from the field, 2 for 2, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. He really filled up the stat sheet. The only thing, and it's just kind of a recurring theme with this Jazz team in general, is just the defense is just not good. And so Filipowski off the bench is obviously much better. I think it's a better fit for him there. Ace Bailey struggled to shoot the ball a little bit, although when you look at it, 2 for 6, and this was a bad shooting night, pretty good sign there. He took 1 3, knocked it down. 2 rebounds. I would say this was one of Ace Bailey's worst games in a while, and he still managed to shoot it at not horrible. I just can't tell you how much I love watching Ace Bailey and just seeing his unselfishness. He's just a guy that is willing to do whatever it takes to win, and I love that about him. And I just have no doubt that he's going to improve every single year, kind of like Keontae George does. And who knows, maybe this will all work out. Maybe Ace Bailey becomes that star that we're hoping for, and I look like an idiot. I hope I look like an idiot. I really do. I really do. But we'll see. Keontae George, just absolutely becoming a star player. I know. I don't know. He might become all-star caliber here soon. I mean, 29 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. Yes, it's the Brooklyn Nets, but Keontae George is just looking like the point guard of the future for this Jazz team. And if they can get a Darren Peterson or an AJ DeBonsa or something and put it with this team, but I got to stop thinking like that because I don't think Ryan Smith is interested in adding superstar talent to the Jazz. He just doesn't seem interested in that. But regardless, Keontae George is playing extremely well. 8 for 20 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 9 for 9 from the free throw line. Just offensive superstar stuff. And he is putting in more effort on the defensive end. Tonight, no steals. Let's see. Yeah, no steals tonight. But he's still just producing at a honestly an all-star level. I was looking at his numbers. I mean, the 3-point percentage is going to get better. He had that one game where he was sick and he just was really off. But this assist per game had dipped to 6.9. It should go back up. But 33 minutes a night, 23 points per game now. Just incredible stuff. 44% from the field. Look at that. 5 percentage points better. And then 33 from the 3-point line. It's just going to improve. It's just, he's kind of the point now where Utah needs to find injuries. Key is too good. Too good. So, yeah. That's what I was hoping for, Wiggle. I don't know. I'm in the dumps tonight, and it's really I don't know. My wife talked to me like, "You're so sad and they won." And I know, honey, I know. But like next year when the Jazz get their heads caved in, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. But anyways. Yeah, he did fail. What's the marshmallow test? Let me know what that is. Isaiah Collier, he's been actually quietly dipping lately, which I don't mind, but it wasn't enough tonight to make it worth anything. 1 for 3 from the field. He did get 3 assists, but he was a minus 20. We need to play more Isaiah Collier, to be honest. Taylor Hendricks got 7 minutes. I don't know what's going on. Do the Jazz believe in Taylor Hendricks? I don't know. But 1 for 3 from the field. He just played 7 minutes is all. 2 points. I would have liked to see him get some center minutes just to see like what that looks like. But you know what? If it doesn't pan out, it sucks, but it is what it is. I'm bummed. I had so many hope. And this might be a full season of just injury recovery. Like his whole leg broke in half, and it might take a full year just to get back to 100%. Let's just hope. I don't know. There were some troubling signs pre-injury is what I would say. So, it was a study on delayed gratification. I get it. Can you wait to eat the marshmallow? Yes. He failed. He did. Bryce Sensabaugh. Also, let's see. He hit 2 for 5 from 3 tonight. He hit enough shots that he was positive. And look at that, 3 assists for Sensabaugh. He's quietly showing some good signs that he can be more than just a shooter, which is nice to see. You know, I guess we just need, if there's 2 or 3 hopes. One is that we just win the lottery this year, guys. Really, really hope. 2 is that one of these players just slowly every year gets better and better. And it's one of those like Jokic situations where it's like, oh, this guy just turned out to be the best player in the league. That's kind of what you hope. I don't know. Utah certainly can't play defense though. In fact, I want to talk about that too. That is the reason why I'm struggling. Let's see. Stats. Let's go to stats home here. Got to pull up, go to teams, advanced. Let's see where Utah sits now. Somehow Utah's winning these games, and it's crazy. You got to give so much credit to Keontae George for the Jazz to win these games. Thanks for using. By the way, I got to add some more emojis for all you guys. We need some new emojis. Let's see. So, no, not advanced box scores. Oh, general advanced. There we go. Okay. So the issue with the Utah and why I'm worried about the future is the defense, and I just don't see it getting better. And if you want to do this thing, remember Joe Ingles? We've been around a long time, guys. We've been through a lot together. Headband game was fun. Let's see. So offensive rating is the Denver Nuggets. Utah's offensive rating is at 21. They moved up one spot. So that's great. Defensive rating is the Thunder. No surprise there. The dumb Rockets couldn't stop us, I guess. Utah is 26th in defense, and we're trying to win these games. This is why I still have, I guess, a little bit of hope. But Utah's offense is not horrible, right? I mean, the Atlanta Hawks look pretty good, and they're one spot ahead of the Jazz. Yeah, I don't know. Hornets are at 18. Interesting. Utah's defensive rating is rough, and maybe can we just cut Yusuf Nurkic? Can we just buy him out and let him sign with someone else? I have a feeling we're going to have I don't know. This trade deadline is going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm not impressed with what the Jazz front office and owner have done this season. Thank goodness they traded John Collins and Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson. I mean, something they should have done much sooner. At least they did that. But like I said in my little proof of life car screaming video, like that was the bare minimum. It just goes to show, like, that's a thing I would have done a long time ago. I wouldn't have given Jordan Clarkson another contract, by the way. That was another weird thing the Jazz did. And if you argue it was to make him a trade piece, well, he wasn't trending well. And yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Utah, I don't know. Bad decisions, guys. Bad stuff. Walter Clayton Jr. has been playing really well lately. Big time help in the Jazz beating the Houston Rockets. And he played well in this one again. Look at that. 13 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Playing well again. So nice to see. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think the Jazz should do. Should they go for it? I guess that's what they're doing. Or should they make a trade? What's the trade that you think the Jazz should do? Like, I know you can get something for Lauri Markkanen. I don't know. That news about the Pelicans and Zion and like the first good offer we get offered, they'll take. I mean, that sounds to me like, can you get a pick and Zion for Lauri? I think you could get something, maybe. And then that helps the Jazz in multiple ways. Helps them improve their positioning, helps the Pelicans pick, I don't know. There's things to do. Let me know what you guys think. Can the Jazz get something done that can kind of put this season in the right place? Yes, the Jazz are going to lose tomorrow. In fact, I kind of want to we're just riffing tonight. I don't care. Let's go to schedule. Or no, let's go to games. So Utah plays tomorrow. Oh, I got to remind the team, by the way. What is it? December 4th. So just out of curiosity, Utah plays the Knicks at 5:30. Hornets, we're rooting for a Hornets win. Pacers, we're rooting for a Pacers win, I guess. Or a Bulls win. That helps either way, just to give space between the Jazz and the Bulls. Let's see here. Clippers, obviously rooting for the Clippers. Guys, it's bleak. Rooting for the Mavericks, but that's not happening against the Thunder. Who knows? Maybe, do miracles happen? Maybe. Let's see. That's about it. By the way, Donovan Mitchell led Cleveland Cavaliers 13-10. If the Jazz win tomorrow, then I don't know. I guess we're just going for play-in and we're just rooting for that. I don't think that's I mean, I don't know. Maybe they win tomorrow. I don't know. If they do, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked. I'll just be in just a complete thing of depression. By the way, on the 6th, I bought my wife for her birthday like a year ago tickets to go see Nate Bargatze, and we are going to go see him on the 6th. And I can't do a show that night. I don't know if I'll even be able to watch the Jazz. I'll probably watch it later. We'll see. This Jazz team's got me so bummed, guys. I have to say, it's just so bummed. Yeah, basically it'll be like a video like tonight. Oh. Ryan Smith's attacking my Wi-Fi here. Ryan, leave me alone. Go make a trade, Ryan. Do your job. But anyways, just so you know, sorry I missed out on so it's funny, my wife's birthday was like last week, but I had bought her tickets for this for like another birthday present, so we kind of have 2 birthday things for Mrs. Hoops Nerd. So I apologize, but you guys will be okay. I'll do a video tomorrow, and possibly then, I guess, what's the calendar here? Oh, maybe I'm okay, actually. Maybe I won't miss, because tomorrow's the 5th. Jazz play tomorrow. Oh, I thought the Jazz played. Never mind. I'll be back. The Jazz play Sunday? Yeah. I'm so sick of the Jazz getting like set up to win. Because look, they get the Thunder on a night they're not even, and then they get like multiple days rest. What a pathetic, stupid league. Our commissioner sucks. Our owner sucks. Everything sucks right now, guys. This is an important loss, but the good news is we'll be well rested for it. But the Grizzlies are pretty good, so maybe, who knows? I don't know. This will be a bellwether game. This is like one of those, if we lose this game, then I'll feel better. If we win this game, then I'll just be in just complete and utter despair. All right. Well, how's that? Like and subscribe. Oh, man. It's okay. This is what we do. This is sports, right, guys? This is what we do. Should we go see how the lottery works out for a 9th spot team? Let's pull this up. All right. Let's also start the música. Let's see. Let's pull this up. ¿Dónde está la música? What's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I missed the... Okay. Guys, thanks for bearing with me. We're in this together, no matter what. Win or lose, lose or win. All right. Let's turn this down a little bit so it's not so crazy loud. Let's say the Jazz are in the 9th, and everyone says that the lottery odds have flattened, so it's okay to be at 9th. Let's see what happens. Lotteries today. They're revealing the cards. What happens? Looks like late lottery odds does nothing for you. Jazz actually fall to 10th, giving the 10th pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Memphis Grizzlies jump into the top 3. Charlotte gets another top pick. And if the Jazz were at 6, they would have jumped to the number 1. Oh, it's okay. All right, let's give a shout out to the All-Stars tonight. Let's see. Steve Areno, Stu, sir. They changed your handle on this. I'm sorry, Steve. Let him cook sturdy pots. Ezekiel Raisibe, the man from down under. Tyson Price, the price is right. See ya, Lexa later. Jordan the Goat Besserell. Christian House Money to Haas. Robert Hall of Fame, Arx Poetica. I believe in Steve, Jazz Exile, Austin Argrant, Editor Extraordinaire, Key for 3 at PG, the OG, and Patrick Akubo. the connoisseur. Guys, go to Prize Picks. Use promo code HoopsNerd. Check it out for me. See if it works. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to join the Fun Fest here, you can hit join and support. Shout out to Christian House Money to Haas for the donation. So appreciated. And also shout out to Wiggle for joining the show. Joining the team, Wiggle. Welcome. Guys, I will talk to you.